These artists didn't write their biggest hits. They stole them from their dreams. Were they visited by muses? Or are they just really good liars? Today we're dissecting 3 songs supposedly ghost-written by the subconscious. We'll begin our sequence of hits that developed from Pillow to Platinum by featuring perhaps rock and roll's most famous riff, I Can't Get No Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones. The story begins in May 1965, when Richards woke up at 4 a.m. in his Clearwater, Florida hotel room. Or, alternatively, at his London flat, as accounts vary, with the riff and opening lyric, I Can't Get No Satisfaction, in his head. He recorded 45 seconds of the riff plus mumbling on a Philips cassette player by his bed, then fell back asleep. The original cassette, now lost, reportedly had Richards muttering, I can't get no, followed by 15 minutes of snoring. The tape ends with Keith saying, oh my god, I need a fix, which he claims was about the guitar riff. The next morning Richards played it for Mick Jagger, who hated it, calling it too basic, like a folk song. The iconic fuzz tone was an accident. Engineer Stan Ross overloaded a Gibson Maestro fuzz pedal to mask Richards' weak guitar pickup. Richards later said, I dreamed a forbidden riff. Chuck Berry would have sued me if he'd heard it first. He maintains the verse melody came from the 1964 Martha and the Vandellas hit, Dancing in the Street, played backward in his dream.
I write Satisfaction in a dream, basically in bed. I wake up. I don't even remember. I put it.
Is that true?
Yeah. I put it down on a little early cassette player. Fall asleep. In the morning, I remember nothing of this except that I see that the tape has gone from the beginning to the end. I run it back, and there's basically for 30 seconds, 50 seconds Satisfaction.
The weird thing is that every time I play Satisfaction, I'm finding like new ways, just a little lick here and a little bit there, and Charlie and I was like, man, wish we'd have put that on the record, you know. Yeah.
Next up in the dream factory of hitmaking is Ray Davies of the Kinks and his love letter to London, Waterloo Sunset. This iconic song allegedly came from a dentist chair hallucination, but the truth involves sibling grief, lies to the press, and a bassist who called BS. Let's decode the real Waterloo Sunset.
I did wake up singing the song and imagining Frank Sinatra singing it. I don't know if I've made things worse for myself. But I had it for the sort of swing thing. It's a very personal song. It's turned out to be real personal, but I try to stay detached from it because I don't want to be a legend in my own mind.
Part of the great myth around this song comes from Davies' elusiveness. He's given 7 different origin stories, including one where it's about God watching commuters. Davies insists the melody and dirty old river imagery came during a painkiller-fueled hallucination after dental surgery. I was half awake, saw 2 figures crossing a golden bridge, heard this sigh of a melody, he said in his 1995 autobiography. However, Ray Davies' sister claims he was staring at the Thames for weeks prior to his prophetic dream, whilst bandmate Pete Quaife said Ray had the chorus for months. It was called Liverpool Sunset first. And engineer Alan Mackenzie claims he arrived with full lyrics, no dream talk in the booth. So Davies says dream, his sister says grief, his engineer says lie. Who do you believe?
It is like a dream sometime, and when you think it's just so quick and it's gone. It's the wholeness of the record, I think, is important. It's a finished product that has that innocence. The record could not exist without my brother's wonderful guitar part. And I took great care in making the record. Get everything perfect. There's not much on it. And the vocals there are not great, but I mixed them. I mixed it. I could actually, it was 8 tracks, so I could mix it with these fingers. So it's like painting in the sense, it's as close as I'll ever get to it now. And to me, it was like doing my art. And I'd finally cracked it.
Yesterday, take one.
It'll be an F for you.
I remember Paul playing to me yesterday, and he called it Scrambled Egg. It wasn't until he got the lyric together that we decided to record it. So he went down, sat in a high stool with his acoustic guitar, and sang Yesterday.
Finally, we discuss the origin story of perhaps the most famous song in the world, Yesterday by the Beatles. This song came fully formed in a dream, or did Paul McCartney steal it from his own subconscious? Here's why even he didn't believe it was original.
And so, for Paul McCartney of Liverpool, opportunity knocks.
I used to live in this little flat up at the top of a house, in a little room I had, and I had a piano by the bed, and I just woke up one morning with this tune in my head. I thought, I don't know this tune, or do I? It's like an old jazz tune or something.
The tale begins in May 1965. The same month Keith Richards dreamed up Satisfaction, and Paul McCartney wakes up at 57 Wimpole Street, Jane Asher's family home, with a complete melody in his head. He ran to the piano to play it, fearing he'd stolen it. "I thought this is too good to be mine," he said. Initially he used placeholder lyrics, Scrambled Eggs, Oh My Baby How I Love Your Legs, for months, before finally completing it during a holiday in Portugal after stressing over the words "Yesterday, all my troubles seem so far away," which he felt were true but painfully simple. However, Beatles producer George Martin was a skeptic, saying that Paul had been workshopping similar melodies since 1963. The dream was a romantic simplification. Furthermore, some claim a home recording exists of McCartney humming a near-identical tune months earlier.
I mean, we know again, talking about inspiration, I mean, it's now legendary, you know, that you dreamed that phrase up in your mind, and then you sat down and called it Scrambled Eggs or something, was the original title of it. But I mean, since that time, you performed it many, many times. I mean, it's become the song you're most associated with. Have you really thought where the song came from now? Have you been able to work it out?
I don't know, you know, as you say, I dreamed it and woke up one morning with this tune in my head, and didn't believe it was mine, really. I just thought, well, it can't be, because I've got the whole tune, you know, it never happened like that. So it's strange, it's sort of the most successful, that I didn't even write it, really, in a way, but my subconscious kind of wrote it.
Thank you for joining us on this voyage into the dreaming. Please take a second to hit subscribe for more deep dives into forgotten vinyl gems from the 60s to the 90s and vintage mod fashion evolution.